Hi, everybody. It's Phoenix. And here we are. It's very interesting times. Not exactly even sure what to say, to be honest with you. A lot of this really is so deep and so broad that it's, difficult to sort of unpack in, a 5 minute, 10-minute video. Um, there's just a lot going on, obviously. And um, really, my purpose for this video is really just to say, don't tap out. I know that LinkedIn has sort of been flooded with a lot of um, honest, very raw emotion, which is very rare for this platform. I believe it's valid, and it needs to be absorbed, but not taken in a way that feels either accusatory or like an attack. Because I think what's happening and what I'm seeing is people are posting very passionate things on the profiles, and also on their feeds. But I'm sensing that people are just like, oh my God, shut up already. We know. And that's not the right attitude to take. I believe a lot of this has come from just not really trying to meet people where they are. That's really what it comes to. And I want to hopefully be one of those voices that not necessarily smooths things over. Not really into that, but more into bringing the sort of facts to the fore, and really start changing the consciousness around how you view racism, bias, and potentially your part in that. And it's not to point fingers. I don't have time. It doesn't solve anything when you do. But it's more just to, again, raise the awareness of what's really going on. I've been trying to do that for the last 4 years, and, as nice a way as possible. But unfortunately, as you've seen, a lot of this has kind of boiled over because of George Floyd's death and the way that it was sort of caught on cam, and we all got to see it because we're all in quarantine. And finally, people really understand a lot of what we go through on a daily basis. Implicit bias both in the workplace, explicit bias both inside and outside the workplace. Me walking into an elevator and having, a white woman standing there and immediately grabbing her purse and moving it to the opposite side. Trust me, I'm not interested in the purse. If anything, I'm gay as hell, and I'm looking to see what kind of brand it is and to give her, a little high five wink if it's cute. It's going into the grocery store and getting that extra pair of eyes, and that's not a perception. That's reality. It's going into any store really, and having people take a look. I remember walking into a CVS recently, and I know all the codes because I used to work in retail, and I know all the codes. And I was kind of going up and down the aisles looking for freaking lip balm of all things. And I heard a code, which was, basically the code to keep an eye on, that sort of thing. And they kind of directed the aisle that I was on. So it was just kind of like, are you freaking kidding me right now? It's stuff like this. So, I find that a lot of people first of all, aren't exposed to it, therefore it doesn't exist, if that makes any sense. And then it becomes my issue to try to tell you what's happening to me on a daily basis. And that's often to people who, since it doesn't happen to them, they'll never really understand like the deep cutting pain that it actually causes me, even though I may not show it. But, multiply that over years and years and years and even decades of, the same treatment and the same sort of, lesser than attitude toward you. Me, 27 years as an executive assistant, I've written a book about it. Read the last half of my book. My whole half of my book, it talks about a lot of the issues that I went through. as a sort of 50-year-old Black gay man as a C-suite executive assistant. It's not something that, to be honest with you, will be solved in my lifetime. I know that. Here's the truth. It's just not going to happen. But I believe that, the way I look at it is we can put people in the space station, for crying out loud, and do that in record time with the same aplomb and the same energy and the same, hope and desire to do something kind of stratospheric. Then after hundreds of years of racism, you would think that we would put similar energy into just solving a problem that is actually quite easy to solve. Easy in the sense of, macro looking at it. It's not that difficult. It's really attitudinal and behaviors. That's it. And, giving people opportunities that are equal and, letting them flourish on their own, obviously giving them the tools wherever you can, which is what all this is sort of really sort of kind of come to a head around, is the fact that a lot of those opportunities don't exist. A lot of the same attitudes that were prevalent all those years ago that made their way into these great colleges, these colleges, these Harvards, these Yales, these Whartons, and those little side conversations, the little brohoods and all this other bullshit that continues to perpetuate the same sort of BS and the same, setting the same sort of standard that people like me, who also went to a great college, have to sort of fight through just to be looked at as quote unquote equal. But I'll never be equal because the system is set up in a way where I'll never ever be considered equal. And that's something that I'd say, even saying that will make some of you be like, all right, I'm off. Let me go do some more work, But it's true. Unfortunately, we live in I think we live in a nation specifically that is set up based on old sort of slavery, tenets from years gone by. And while we are working through some of that via legislation and via, programs like affirmative action and all this other stuff, it's just not really set up in such a way where it's going to be fixable. Like I said, anytime within my lifetime. So, that got real big. Really, I'd say more than anything, let's take something away from this. Let's take away even just 2 or 3 facts. One, we're hurting. People of color are hurting. And now's an opportunity, and it feels like you guys are finally getting it, to just show some empathy. That's it. Let's start there. Show a little empathy, and we'll start there. I'd say number 2 is, don't shy away from some of the crunchy conversations. Don't be afraid of asking a question and, getting dragged. I mean, we do it all the time, but, I think really what's some of the root cause of these not disagreements, but just lack of communication, is the fact that we fear what the other person's going to say about us or think about us or quote unquote label us as. I don't, with all due respect, I've been labeled many, many things my entire life, but I've managed to transcend that to become a CEO of 3 companies, or COO of 1 and CEO of 2. So, I don't believe personally in limitations. If I see them, I work around them, or I figure out a way to plot myself around them. But unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a unicorn like that. Not everyone has the same opportunity, has the same sort of, mental strength, if you will, has the same, whatever, uniqueness or whatever you want to call it. And I think really more than anything, what we just need to understand here is this all stemmed from one man making a really, really bad decision. I don't know, with all due respect, I got into this like big Twitter battle, so to speak, with someone yesterday, but it actually did make me think overnight. He was saying, well, you went into this thinking that he went into this with racist motivations, but you can't prove that. And I countered, of course, with, well, I did a little research, and found that department was rife with racism and bigotry. He had 18 counts against him. Several of them were sort of racially inspired. He worked at a nightclub where the nightclub owner went on national television to tell people that he was racist and a hothead, and for some reason tended to be afraid, quote unquote, of people of color. So my rational mind is, well, probably when he saw this dude, they were struggling to get him into the car. I don't know what happened because we don't have exact video of what happened in the car. He got pissed, yanked the kid out, stuck him on the ground, and stuck his knee in his neck. So, I don't know to this guy's point, I don't know if that was a racist intent or not. I can only sort of make that I think a rationalization that it could be, but, to a degree, he was right. Like, I don't know if it was or not. I know it was, but, the facts aren't there until we hear from the murderer's mouth himself, whether or not he was racist or his intent was racist, or if it was just, he was just a hothead freak that decided, oh, I'm going to kill somebody today, So all that said, all of that and what led to this and what is now all over LinkedIn and every other social is the fact that there is injustice. Please don't try to, downplay that in any which way, shape, or form, or you will get dragged. But we also need to realize that a lot of that injustice is systemic. It's come from somewhere. And it has grown year after year after year after year. Not saying that it's, harbored in LinkedIn, but let's be honest with you. I mean, businesses are built on a lot of those constructs. A lot of these old boardrooms are still filled with people who believe that, in low key, in sort of racist ideologies. Or I would say not racist. I would probably say more biased and biased. That's a good word, because I think a lot of people, especially in C-suites, and I've been in many, and I've supported executives that are fucking clueless when it comes to race, who just don't get it. And they kind of make assumptions based on what they see on TV or what experience they had with their friends in school or lack of experience they had with friends of color in school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that has now permeated the C-suites. And the C-suites, unfortunately, are all built kind of like the same dude, if you will. They all went to Wharton or Yale or whatever. They all speak quote unquote the same language. They have very little, exposure to people of color, except for the people in their ranks. And even then, they don't have direct exposure because they hire managers that have more exposure than they do to people in their ranks that are of color. And so, again, that's why C-suites are so dangerous, is because they're just not exposed enough to really what's going on throughout the rest of the company. And everything the information that they are getting is information that is sort of being handed to them, which is third party, which is also co-opted and massaged to put in a way that is sweet enough for the C-suite to handle, and therein lies the problem as far as I'm concerned. I mean, C-suite is one thing, but then it's all those sort of mid-managers who are, diluting the message before it gets to the C-suite. And unfortunately, a lot of the mid-managers are the ones who are the most biased and the most racist because they're still, one-upping themselves in order to sort of make it to the C-suite at some point. So we got a whole situation here, people. Like, I don't know what else to say about it, but I think that all starts with, our individual contribution to the conversation. If you just choose to remain silent, that's on you. And you can sort of, sit silently and watch and sort of see what the behavior du jour is, or you can get in the conversation and risk being wrong. That's okay. We're all wrong at some point. I know I am. I make mistakes all the time. I get dragged from time to time too, because of what I believe. But I'm one of those weirdos that I like to be wrong because I want people to tell me so that I can actually challenge my own beliefs, because I want to be the best person that I can be every single day. And that's really what I'm getting at, is let's stop worrying about what people are going to think about us. Let's get in the conversation. If we have views that are biased or a little bit racist, you'll get told, don't worry. But that gives you then the opportunity to kind of fix it or work on it or talk through it and realize that, oh shit, wow, I totally didn't realize that someone was perceiving that as racist or someone was perceiving that as biased. I don't even necessarily believe it. I heard it. My family told me for years. That's kind of what I always thought. That's what we're looking for here. That's it. is to really, again, have the conversation. We're human beings, for crying out loud. No one's perfect, but let's at least not shy away from the crunchy stuff, because that's the only way we'll solve this. This is the only way we'll lead to a solve for this, so that when our kids get handed the baton, they can continue the good work, hopefully, that we'll start doing now. Unfortunately, from a tragedy that we just experienced. So there you go. Sorry again for the diatribe. I just, tired. I don't know what to tell you. I'm tired. I'm tired as a Black man. I'm tired. Oof. No waterworks. Just tired. I want this to magically go away, but it's not. And the way we're going to solve it is to talk and to stop pointing our fingers and wagging our fingers at each other. Stop checking out and running behind the curtain because you can. All this crap. It's enough. Let's get back to work. I want to fucking make money. I want to change lives. I want people to grow and really, I want our kids to not have to worry about this crap. Come on. So don't hide. Just talk. That's all I'm asking, because it's important. Let's get business involved now. Instead of just making money, let's get business involved in creating the change that is going to make us all prosper, not just a subset. The subset has kind of done an okay job, but they're not doing the great job. There's all kinds of music out there and a whole lot of sports that people are watching that include us. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be the same without it. You've been without with sports for how long now? What are you missing? Who makes up a major constitution of those sports teams? Do you see what I'm getting at? So let's talk. Enough of this hiding and finger pointing and, calling people out for some things that they're not. It's not constructive. I'm over it already, to be honest with you. But, again, we need to have these conversations. So if you ever want to talk about this or ever feel like, I just need a safe space to actually discuss this, reach out to me, DM me. I don't care what level you are, CEO, whatever. I coach CEOs now, reach out and let me know. And I can kind of coach you off the ledge and kind of let you know, yeah, I probably wouldn't say that in my town hall. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, wow, sorry. Gamut of emotions. I'm going to go now. I have coffee waiting for me. Again, reach out if you need anything at all. I'm here for you. I love all of you. I know that sounds cheesy and whatever, but my heart is different. I love everyone, but I want us all to be better. And I want us all to really get to a place where we're comfortable in our own skin and we celebrate each other's differences. We celebrate the fact that we all are of different colors and from different heritages and we all dance to a different beat, Don't not see color, but have some understanding about the colors you see and not try to homogenize everyone to make yourself comfortable. It's not what we're here for. Okay, thank you. And that's it. I'll talk to you soon.